I know that I'm privileged to have been the first woman at the Brady, but I just thought of myself as a Halstead resident and as a Brady resident.
You paved the way for all of us, so thank you.
Absolutely. We hear so much about you all the time.
The Brady is a magical place, and you have made a really momentous journey. Sometimes the best men for the job are 3 women. That's you all. You should be really, really, really proud of yourselves.
We here in the Department of Urology have had many firsts, and we've pioneered a lot of scientific discoveries, surgical techniques, but we also, I believe, are pioneering in the area of culture, of inclusion, and diversity. For over 100 years, the Department of Urology has been graduating residents, and this year we're so honored and so proud to be graduating our first all-female class.
That'll be us 3 right there.
So women in urology, I think, is a growing aspect of urology. Previously, it was very rare to see a woman go into urology, and even now we make up about 10% of the workforce for urologists across the country. That being said, men and women both need urologists. And so I tell my residents when they go out into practice, about 30 to 40% of their patients will be women. A very common comment that I get from my female patients is how comfortable they are having a female doctor that they can see and have a conversation. So I think there's a huge need for women in urology. We haven't quite caught up to our patient needs yet in terms of our urology demographics, but we're getting there and we're working towards it.
I'm actually the first woman in my family to go to college. I went to Stony Brook for medical school and I stayed on there for urology, and I was actually the first urology resident that's female at Stony Brook. In general, I think women in surgery, we're a smaller percentage of the population, but it's definitely growing. This place has always fostered and made it feel like I wasn't any different being a woman. I'm able to do everything I want to do and get the support that I need.
To me, the most unique aspects of the way urology research is conducted here is sort of the multidisciplinary nature. The very fact that a urology resident is working in a pathology lab, I think would be pretty unusual in most other settings. Most urology residents would stay in a urology faculty member's lab.
I think that was one of the main reasons I decided to stay at the Brady for residency. This collaborative research environment, like Dr. Lotan said, as residents we have access to not just urologists doing genitourinary research, but also pathologists, oncologists, engineers. So it really is a collaborative environment.
So when I first learned about urology, my misconception was that it was a man's field with male patients for male physicians. And I learned very early on that we take care of not only men, but women, and in my particular case, as somebody who's going to be a pediatric urologist, children as well. So for myself, I'm excited to become a leader in the field of pediatric urology, specifically transitional urology. And being here with all my male mentors, but certainly my female mentors, has really set me off to start my career. And so I'm really, really thankful to have been here and to learn from the best and the brightest.
I am excited about the future in urology. The things we're doing now, we're thinking about 100 years from now, not just the next 20 years. Constant innovation, development of things like bladder transplant. We're working on penile transplant, organ transplant, etc. All tremendous parts of the future that will really impact not only our kids, but our adult patients.
Moving the field forward requires creativity of thought, and creativity of thought comes from diversity of thought. So one of my biggest hopes is to have a future where urology as a field looks like our communities. People of different colors, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and different genders as well.
Women bring about a different way of approaching clinical problems that are, I think, incredibly important and unique. So women in urology, it's the wave of the future. That's all I have to say about that.